This channel is all about Marvel, DC Comics, and Star Wars, and I'm really excited about this video because I'm going to be discussing a statue based on my favorite Sith Lord in the entire Star Wars universe. So let's get started. Star Wars: The Phantom Menace was slammed by critics and fans alike. But, Darth Maul was one character from that film that really rose above all that criticism and lived on through a ton of merchandise, just like this statue next to me. Hello, I'm Gina, and this is my full review of the Darth Maul premium format statue by Sideshow Collectibles. Now, as you probably already know, this is the second quarter scale statue of Darth Maul produced by Sideshow. So in this video, I'm going to give you, in my opinions, the notable improvements made to this latest statue. And as always, I'm going to cover this piece from head to toe. So with his lightsaber activated and my Joker t-shirt on, let's begin with some background information. The Sith Lords of the Star Wars universe all serve the dark side, but they also each have their own unique identity. And what I love about Darth Maul is that he's the huntsman, the assassin Sith Lord. And as you can see here with this statue, Darth Maul is taking a determined step forward. His double-bladed lightsaber is ignited, ready to strike. Now, even though this is a somewhat museum pose, there's still a deep tension and energy to this statue. Now, even though Darth Maul's impact on the Star Wars films was short-lived, later on in the non-canon storylines, his origins were chronicled. And, his vivid history really gives us a sense of the intensity and strength of this character. This notorious Sith Lord was born on the planet Dathomir, and many of his recognizable features are attributed to his Zabrak lineage, such as his red skin, his horns, and his black facial tattoos. Now, Maul's introduction to the dark side began as an infant when his mother offered him to Darth Sidious, who then raised Maul and trained him to wield the double-bladed lightsaber. Of course, it wasn't until the arrival of Star Wars: The Phantom Menace that we got our first look at Darth Maul, portrayed by the actor Ray Park. In this film, Darth Maul would ultimately lead to a violent end at the hands of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now, in my opinion, many of Darth Maul's key features, his robes, his black tattoos, his double-bladed lightsaber, all come together nicely in this statue. Now, of course, to some, the design of this piece may seem simplistic and elementary, but there's still a lot of detail placed in each of the components, especially with the portrait. And in the next section, I'm going to give you a closer look at this fearsome face. I'm sure that you would agree that for any statue based on a movie character, capturing the likeness of the actor is critical. And in my eyes, this piece is very reminiscent of the Darth Maul that I remember from The Phantom Menace. And I think that Sideshow nailed Ray Park's image perfectly. Here you can see that the portrait has that intimidating if looks can kill expression, which was pretty much the calling sign of Darth Maul throughout the entire film. And speaking of his death stare, if you look closely at the eyes, you can see how the radiant irises really stand out, and he's gazing straight down at you. Now, moving up to the top of the head, I really love the sculpt of the horns. They have striations along their surface, which give them that bony appearance. Now, the black tattoos that adorn his face are also beautifully sculpted. They're actually etched into the portrait. And in fact, the entire portrait is painted with a matte, flat finish. And this paint application, I believe, closely resembles his natural skin tone. Now, I own Sideshow's first quarter-scale Darth Maul statue, and I have to say that the portrait on this latest piece is far superior than his predecessor. And it's for all the reasons that I've just mentioned. This portrait has a far greater likeness and a higher quality paint application and sculpt. Now, in the next section, I'm going to give you my views on a very understated component of Darth Maul, and that's his body outfit. The quarter-scale statues of the Jedi and Sith produced by Sideshow Collectibles typically have their robes designed in mixed media fabric, and I'm so glad that Sideshow has continued that tradition with their latest Darth Maul statue. I'm a big fan of the cut-and-sew tailoring done to his outfit, and I'm really impressed with the overlapping layers. At the forefront of his robes are two large lapels, and they travel down the entire body. I really like their rough texture. It brings a lot of complexity to an otherwise very modest black set of robes. And what is also pretty cool is the underwire that has been inserted into the outfit. This allows me to pose the robes as I see fit, which is another awesome way to bring some movement into this statue. Now, Darth Maul's outfit is constructed not entirely of fabric. The belt is sculpted. And of course, Darth Maul's high boots and his gloves are sculpted as well. Now, as impressed as I am with the body outfit, I think I'm even more excited to talk about his double-bladed lightsaber and the exclusive severed lightsaber, and that's coming up in the next section. Similar to the portrait, the lightsaber on this guy is far superior than Sideshow's original quarter-scale Darth Maul statue. And in my opinion, I think that the lightsaber is one of the hallmark features of this piece. Now, what I really love is how Sideshow has improved on the light-up feature, and they've done so in a number of ways. First off, when you turn on the lightsaber, it has that delayed activation, which is really cool because it mimics how the lightsabers operate in the Star Wars films. Now, the second improvement, of course, is just the vast brightness of the lightsaber. And just to put things into context, I've got really bright lights on here, but you can still appreciate the glow of the lightsaber. And that just demonstrates how bright it is. Since I'm on the topic of the lightsaber, I would be remiss if I didn't show some close-up views of the lightsaber hilt. Now, I love the knobs and switches. You know, Darth Maul is not typically remembered for his lightsaber hilt, so I'm impressed with the amount of attention that was directed towards the sculpt of the hilt. Okay, so up to this point, I've had the Darth Maul premium format statue displayed primarily with a double-bladed lightsaber, but this piece also comes with an exclusive severed lightsaber. It has exactly the same light-up feature and brightness as the double-bladed lightsaber. And, you know, I believe that this exclusive is best displayed when you view the statue from the side. So now I've removed the double-bladed lightsaber, and here I have the statue displayed with the severed lightsaber. Now, as I just mentioned, it's really well constructed, but you know, I find this exclusive to be just average. It really doesn't do anything for me, other than perhaps save some space and make the statue easier to display. So I much prefer the double-bladed lightsaber. It's definitely more iconic and more impressive, and I believe that most collectors will probably feel that way too. The base of the statue is pretty straightforward, but it matches really well with the overall refinement of the entire statue. As you can see here, it's designed in the shape of a discus, and it has a beautifully polished surface. Now, Sideshow usually keeps the bases on their Star Wars pieces very minimal, so I completely understand why the base on this latest statue was designed with the same approach. The base is not a standout component of the statue, and that's okay because I think it's really intended to just supplement Darth Maul's modest pose, and it does so with a very chic and unpretentious quality. Overall, I think what this statue demonstrates is that you could take a museum pose and still capture the menacing ferocity of a character. You know, for me, everything that I love about Darth Maul is in this statue. His assassin spirit is front and center. Now, at this point in the video is where I usually point out my top favorite features of the statue, and for this guy, it was pretty easy to make my list. Now, number 3 on my list has to be his fabric robe. Quality is far superior to Sideshow's older Star Wars pieces, and they've really upped the ante on how you can pose the robes. Okay, so my second favorite feature of this statue is the activation of the lightsaber. This was such an unexpected surprise when I first turned on the lightsaber, and it really takes me back to when I first saw Star Wars on the big screen. And now my number one favorite feature of the Darth Maul premium format statue is, without a doubt, his portrait. There's an expression of confidence and a level of concentration on this face, and it's a perfect match for such an imposing character. Sideshow really had to nail the portrait in order for the statue to succeed, and in my view, I think they did just that. Now, of course, these are just my opinions, and as always, I encourage you to check out other YouTube videos on this statue and hear what other collectors have to say. And on that note, I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I want to thank you for watching. Take care.